Ranneko's Massive Tips! The Alchemist. The Alchemist is one of the 3 pure classes in Massive Chalice. They're a mix between ranged and melee attacks. Their ranged attacks are also the only area attacks that the pure classes get. And they're also the only class that has a primary attack that has a limited use per battle. By default, they only get 5 flasks that they can use during the battle, and the rest of the time they're reduced to hitting things with their thrower, which is why their throwers are kind of claw-like as well. At level 2, the Alchemist gets free throw. This is really where I find Alchemists start being a lot more useful. I've heard a lot of people talk about how Alchemists really didn't seem to be effective, because if you've only ever used the level 1 Alchemist you get right at the start of the game, they really just don't seem to do enough damage to matter. But once you got free throw, you can make 2 attacks in a turn. And yes, you've used up 40% of your flasks in doing so. You can only do that a few times in a battle. But you suddenly have literally doubled the damage output. You've also got the ability to pop in and out of cover every couple of turns to really do a lot of damage. The other thing that the Alchemist attack has that no other attack in the game gets is its accuracy is based purely on distance. It's not based on what the attack's being thrown at. So it's really useful against enemies that have a high evasion, because their evasion literally does not matter. And if you boost an Alchemist's accuracy up enough, then they're basically 100% accurate right to the edge of their radius. So if you've got patriotic, tranquil Alchemists, especially if you then hand them a steady hander, those guys can hit anything that they can reach, and they do a lot of damage. At level 4, you get a choice between Spirit of the Dart Falcon and Extra Item Slot. Extra Item Slot is fairly useful. All of the Alchemists and Alchemist subclasses get that. But Spirit of the Dart Falcon is what I generally go for. I generally am going for aggression over support, and it increases both range and accuracy for flask throws. So you're increasing your range and you're increasing your ability to actually hit what you're aiming for. For me, it is most of the time a no-brainer. If I wanted a more support Alchemist, though, I would, this is a perfectly viable path to go down. At level 6, you get the choice between throw items and acid solution. So throw items is also self-explanatory. You've seen it before with some of the other classes, most notably the trick shot gets an equivalent ability, which is shoot items. So throw items works the same way. It's like throwing a flask, except with particular items. So you can make it amplifies the support aspect of the Alchemist, because suddenly you can get multiple people with a healing potion or haste hooch or agent rage. And again, if you're going for a support Alchemist, it's a perfectly fine choice. Often I will go for the acid solution because it just increases the amount of damage I do over time. It means that if I've reduced an enemy to 5 or 6, I can just ignore that enemy. It'll die at the beginning of its next turn. It's fine. The only thing that it's stopping me doing right now is stealthing. At level 8, you get a choice between Bees in a Bottle and Fertilizer Flask. This is kind of a disappointing set of items. Fertilizer Flask gives you evasion boosting foliage, so you create an area which makes it easier for you to dodge. It doesn't impact really melee attacks, and in general I would rather avoid taking damage by trying to make sure that all of my enemies are dead or stunned than by trying to reduce the chances of my character being hit. There are better stuns or ways of disabling. And then you've got Bees in a Bottle. Bees are a area denial kind of tactic. They are a bit like Rupture Goo, except that it moves around. They're bees. They won't move onto the Alchemist that threw them, but otherwise they will actually move onto your heroes. And they move before the damage occurs at the beginning of an enemy's turn, but they move before that damage takes place. So bees that were occupying an enemy square may well go and move out of it before damage actually takes place. It's another attack. It means that you've got another thing that you can throw during the battle, but it's kind of strange. And also, some things get attacked by bees that you would think bees are slightly disinterested in. These are very aggressive bees. Finally, at level 10, you get my favorite ability of all of the level 10 ones, Mad Bomber. Suddenly, your alchemist gets 10 explosive flasks, and you can use free throw every turn. So that means you have 5 turns of 2 strikes, no worry about cooldown. Suddenly your alchemist can just rip through the battlefield, destroying everything in their path. Especially since even if you don't throw 2 flasks in one turn, you've got that ability to move, free throw, and move again, because it doesn't end your turn. It's the only attack that doesn't end your turn. So keep that in mind. It's a really useful ability. Ooh, oh, that's awesome. So I've got a character with a boomslinger here. The plan here is you get as close as you can, and we get 2 shots at this. Free throw. So as you can see, got not the best accuracy, but we'll put it here because that gives us 77% chance. Boom! All of them are dead. Even the ones that are not currently visibly dead are about to die next turn. So that means I can do this. So, one thing to note, when you are throwing flasks, move the cursor around a bit. You are interested in hitting enemies. You don't actually care that much about the particular part of the explosion, because it all does the same amount of damage. You should, however, take a moment to actually look at the damage being displayed when you mouse over them directly, because this is the only time that armor is taken into account. But here, if I throw here, I won't miss. If I throw here, I've got a 1% chance. It's probably fine. But if I were to throw here, I'd equally hit the same number of enemies, but I've got a much worse chance of it coming off. So let's go for this 100% accurate throw. Take her down. Knock him back into that explosion. I wasn't hoping he would go. I was hoping they would not go quite so far. That's not ideal. And there we go. Oh, that's bad. Oh, I didn't think that through. So, this is why you should be careful with Carapace explosions. I wonder if this will loop. I think it loops. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. But I just almost killed my alchemists because I wasn't careful about where those things went. Okay. Now you have a regular thrower, you have a pillar pitcher. Pillar pitcher has a reduced area. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use it anyway, because 85% chance, whatever. Take that down, but also force those guys into a smaller area, just to make sure that I can hit them. So here, I would be able to hit them if I weren't using a pillar pitcher, because a pillar pitcher cannot directly target an enemy. You have to go for an outer area. But I do have this friendly neighborhood alchemist who can just take them all out. And this is why high-level alchemists, especially alchemists with all that delicious training, are useful, because they can and will do enough damage to take out large groups of enemies. And oh, that's right, you just did 3 throws, so you're actually completely fine to move around. So we'll move you up, and here we go, end of turn. Those guys both explode. That guy gets another 700 XP, despite being stunned. And that dies to acid. Okay, still got a stunned group, because I was dumb. Okay. You are using the pillar pitcher, aren't you? So what we can try and do here is we can try and just make it more difficult for them to reach me. That did not what I wanted to do. Alchemists are the only characters that get indirect fire, which is really useful for situations like this. But do we really want to? You know what? We don't. We're just going to sit here, let them come to us. Even a glancing blow will set off a carapace explosion. Yeah, you take down that pillar. Well done. Oh yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing I wanted to see. Let's just have you build up in the same area. Alright, so what we want to do here is move this guy up. Haste Hooch can be used without worrying about running out of actions, because it does not take an action to use. We'll move it up here where he'll be out of even a boom slinger explosion, and this is what I wanted to do. So yeah, that guy is very angry. Well, yeah, you can't actually take him out in one go. But hopefully, no, that still won't be dead. You know what? Let's just run up and pop you. So the reason for doing all that is because I think I can get all of those guys in a single boomslinger explosion. Yes, I can. Note the positioning here. I was very careful not to move him one step closer, because otherwise wouldn't have been able to make it in. Okay, you. Hand of Fate. It's a real pity that I can't get you up close enough. And I can haste hooch you. Alright, actually let's try this. Haste hooch. Because I don't need to worry about line of sight, and I actually want to get those guys and not him, it's very important to try to position this correctly. Ooh, I accidentally brought Boom Striker along. Please ignore that man. That man is not important. He is for a future lesson. He gets to stand back here and do nothing. Okay, here we can do a really dumb thing. Got a 59% chance of killing those guys and a chance of killing him. Okay, we went for it and it worked. That was very foolhardy though. Hey there, Cadence. How you doing? So since we're facing relatively weak guys here, I just want to take them out without worrying about using up ammo. We do have 5 alchemists, which means that we can afford to waste flasks if we really want to, but against a single target, it really doesn't seem worthwhile. We'll move you up here, because we know we've got enemies in this direction. You just can stay there. And here we move everyone up. We're trying to move such that none of them are next to each other. Hi there. Excellent. Okie dokie. So, you have your cleft palate. You've got your pillar pitcher. we'll just take out both of the guys here. And now, fortunately we're not dealing with bulwarks, which means I can do this. What we want to do is we want to use... What we want to do is I want to level up the relic, which means first we'll just use a regular throw to soften this guy up. Now you can do enough damage. We'll see. What we'll do is we'll do this, which will take out him, and hopefully him. Nope, not him. Okay. Now, what we do is we use the pillar pitcher. Won't use the free throw, and we'll take this guy out. Yep, we're creating a pillar for basically no value. I mean, yes, it's a choke point, but the key thing is now I can kill this and level the relic a bit more. There we go.
Your advice?
Huh, hi there, Laps. I forgot that you might be around. Get it? Forgot? Okay. Alright. I'm now gonna... Whoops. I'm gonna use free throw. It doesn't get me any extra damage. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here, because this guy was about to hit me into a wall, which I felt not good. Okay. And they're out of ammo. That's fine. We probably don't have that much of the fight left. Probably shouldn't be using drunk scouts because they have reduced visibility. Ah, there we are. Also worth noting that if you hit the throw flask button, you can see the range. So you can actually see that I've got quite a decent range on this fella with the cleft palate. And this guy also has a okay range, but not quite okay enough. I'll just sit here, try and get him to come to us. Of course you do. And then we'll do... That's inconvenient. So it's worth noting that these things that are even more... Like, there's actually a third type of blocker, which is a more than full height blocker. And they're a pain to deal with, because they do actually just block even alchemy throws. So you can see that it doesn't matter that I have the range. I can't throw over this thing. So, we'll pop this guy. Or maybe not. Don't have free throw available. Oh wait, you've still got one more. Ah, right, and we've cleared the pillar. That was not helpful. That was distinctly unhelpful, in fact. Alright, excellent. That's what I wanted to see. Now you can use one of your flasks to kill everyone that you know and love. Crap. You can see that, like, I will straight up murder every one of them. So what we'll do instead is we'll run him in and we'll have him take one out. Murder him. And you can go hide behind this. This is actually a time where that guy would be really useful, if I were actually trying to demonstrate trickshot abilities, because he could run in and he could have done a precision flask right in the center there. But we don't have that because we totally aren't bringing them along. Instead, we have things like bees. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to demonstrate bees because we can. Because we can. So bees do damage when they land. As you can see, they're unaffected by the thrower. The thrower only applies to basic flasks. They do damage when they land. They'll do damage at the start of their turn. And we'll see how it all goes. They do a fair amount of damage for passive damage. And I do think that is based on stats. There we go. That's the end of the battle.
Okay. Since you and your heroes did so well here, I'll try and make sure their ride home is more pleasant and less vomit-inducing.
They've earned it.
And that is how you use alchemists in battle. Until next time, have a great day.